G'day everyone, it's SDS SuperCoach providing SuperCoach content for you. I'm here to present an updated team for me. I'll get through a couple of things first. Obviously I recorded a Hawthorn preview with SuperCoach with DR and Spills. That's on their channel. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you do. New subscribers from here, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I want to keep building up the channel, keep punching out content over the preseason and the season. So I really do appreciate it, guys, all the support and all that. I've seen the comments on the video, and it's just fantastic to read some of these comments. So it gives me a lot of confidence. So thank you very much. So if you're new to the channel here, I'm SDS, of course. As I said, I'm looking to punch out a lot of content. If you're viewing into this and you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. I'm trying to hit 300 subs before round one. I think I'm on 237 subs now, so that's an extra 20 subs I've got just from yesterday's video. So that's just been fantastic. So yeah, thank you a lot, guys. It's been fantastic. So this is my channel, and any current and subscribers that have been here for before that video, thank you again for tuning in. So yeah, make sure you like the video and subscribe. That'd be great. So we're going to do a team picker, updated team. So this will probably be my last one until SuperCoach fully opens. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Haven't got my notes this time compared to my the video I did yesterday with DR and Spills. Ripper blokes, by the way. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I guess we can go through the team. I think it's changed a fair bit since my last one. We've had about 3 weeks to roughly think about our side, so we'll just have a look and see what I've gone with. So Jordan Dawson at D1, I think it's pretty simple. You can just rely on him scoring anywhere on the field. He really just is such a important player for the Crows. I mean, there's rumours that he could be the next captain as well. That's how highly they rate him. He's clearly their best player, in my opinion. I respect to Rory Laird, but I do think Jordan Dawson's that point of difference in Adelaide's team. Angus Brayshaw's a bit of a different one. I've gone with a couple of different premiums here, but Angus Brayshaw, I think just the consistency I really like, the price I really like. If there's any delays on Oliver's thumb surgery that he's currently going through, then I think Brayshaw's going to get a bit of opportunity. I highly doubt that there's going to be much delay in Oliver's injury, but I like Angus Brayshaw's consistent scoring. 9 of the last 12 games he scored, he cracked a ton. So I don't mind him at the price when we've got a load of defenders that are overpriced. Oh, not overpriced, but pricier than usual. I think he's a bloke that just stands out in the middle. He's experienced, of course, and he's just such an important player for Melbourne. So hopefully he isn't given a tagging role. I'll keep tabs with him during the pre-season and see how he's tracking. Hopefully he's not in a tagging role for next season. Otherwise, obviously, don't pick him. So Hayden Young, with my setup with SuperCoach at the minute, I'm really big on just having a safe side than building on that, because not having the correct starting side can just really ruin your whole season. So I've got Hayden Young here. I think you can have a stab at a young bloke, one or two young blokes in your side, and see how they go. I've currently got Hayden Young in my side. I think he's ready to just take that next level. So I think he's going to be an interesting watch during the pre-season, whether he gets more midfield time. I've heard our Freo fans want him to be spending a little bit more time in the midfield. And down back, he takes the kick-ins most of the time, other than Luke Ryan's his main competition down back. So I think he's a beautiful kick of the ball. I think he just sets up Freo's play pretty well. I mean, he's actually, in my opinion, I reckon he could be a similar player to Jordan Dawson in the future. So he's going to be an interesting watch. Josh Gota, I did watch Spills' rookie profile, rookie review series that he does, and he did Josh Gota, and he really talked me into Josh Gota, and I just think there's opportunity there. Aaron Hall is just so unreliable in terms of him just staying on the park. So he could go down really easily. And then after that, I think and Luke McDonald, of course, is a lock. But I think there's a spot in there for Josh Goda. You think of the other options rivaling them. I'll basically compare it, say what Spill said, but you've got, off the top of my head, Flynn Perez, Dawson, Young, Stevenson, if he's moved back down there. I'm not sure if he will. There's a couple of others, of course, as well. So I just think Goda, he's got the talent. We'll see if Clarkson runs with that, because he scored 70 in the one game he did play last year. And I didn't watch the game, but seems like he was moving pretty nicely for a first gamer. So I think Josh Goda is going to be a watch for me. I won't spend too long on Connor McKenna. I think he's a lock, in my opinion. I think if you decide to go with him, I think he's just a safe option. He should play in Brisbane's side each and every week. There's a spot in there for him. What kills, the only negative about Connor McKenna being, I mean, obviously he's a fantastic option, but he kind of ruins, who's the bloke? Darcy Wilmot, who did show some good signs. So I'm not sure if there's actually a spot for Darcy Wilmot next year. He would be a very nice rookie to have, but seems like Connor McKenna would take his spot, and he's a very solid player, so I'd go with him. Josh Weddle, I won't spend too long talking on the Hawk boys. If you haven't watched the preview with me and DR, make sure you do. I talk extensively on Josh Weddle, Cam McKenzie, and Fergus Green in particular, and a load of other players. So make sure, if you haven't watched it, make sure you do. Josh Weddle is training as an outside mid/wing role. He's looking really good. He's a great athlete. 193 centimeters, moves a lot freer than that 193 centimeter height. So I think Josh Weddle's because Hawthorn like to play the rookies pretty early, regardless if they're fully ready or not. So I'd be shocked if he didn't play in the first 5 rounds, Josh Weddle. So I'd lock him in early days. Charlie Dean, he's there. It's a bit unknown with Darcy Moore's current injury status. So I think he had a bone infection. I think he's got a bone infection, and I think there's a spot there. But Billy Frampton's his main rival there. Nathan Kruger's another one as well. So, I mean, the defenders don't really matter at this point in the year. It's obviously structure. Just flirting with different structures is pretty important. Josh Fahey might get a game. So. Clayton Oliver, I'm keeping a close eye on him during pre-season, see how the thumb recovery is going. Because if it's not looking good, I'm going to switch to Rory Laird. So, yeah, Oliver's still in my team for the time being. I think in my opinion, I think you would need one of Laird or Oliver. I mean, you could probably get away with having Took M1 or even Lockie Neal, but I think you can just trust Oliver. You can trust Laird to give you some really good captain scores during the season. So, yeah, I'd go with Clary at M1. Well, that's just my opinion. Marcus Bontempelli, you can see as well, I've gone with the more experienced midfield, because midfield's the one line you don't want to mess up, realistically, because they're the ones that are going to get points on the board. But Bontempelli's a bit different to, I guess, Parrish and Steele. He's a bit more, he's got a high ceiling. He can absolutely cut sick at some games and just deliver a 170. Champion data love him as well. So Marcus Bontempelli's in my side. He's just got such a high ceiling with scoring. And without Josh Dunkley in the side now, I just think Bontempelli's certainly going to be spending a lot less time off that half forward line, because they certainly need him more in the guts. He adds that point of difference to that Bulldogs midfield. Darcy Parish is probably going to be a bit of a premium pod, but I do like Essendon's prospects next season. I think with Brad Scott, he's going to add a bit of toughness that Essendon kind of need at the club. I think Parish struggled a bit with injury. He was a laid out against Carlton. I'm just trying to remember what. No, he wasn't a laid out. He got subbed off early. I think he had a calf strain. I could be wrong, but he did get subbed out. He played 16 games last year, Darcy Parish. I do like him as a pick. I think he's a solid, and in my opinion, I think he finishes top 10, top 12 as an option. if he can stay injury free, and I guess that's the case with all the premiums, as long as they can stay injury free, I think they're a good chance. Jack Steele at 604K is a very good price for what he's capable of. He leads that St Kilda midfield by example. He's the captain. He's just a good player to watch, and he just carries that St Kilda midfield most of the time. So I think Jack Steele is a solid pick if you're looking for a bloke that you're looking for a bit of value, but he certainly has for a bloke. But you're looking for a bloke who also has that ceiling to be top 5. I see that with Jack Steele. Jacob Hopper, I've gone with a mid-pricer. I guess you wouldn't really call Josh Goater a mid-pricer, just sort of even things out. So I guess in football terms, I'm running a 3-4-2-3 setup. So I'm just counting all the premiums. Jacob Hopper, I think he can. I was talking. Fun fact, actually, I was with Brad from SuperCoach Pro. We're going to be making a bit of content next season. He's a mad Tigers fan. We were talking a bit about Hopper and Taranto. I did question, do I really want 2 blokes? You know, both the recruits in there. He's just like, yeah, they should be playing midfield for the majority of the time. So I think Hopper is certainly a bloke that you'd want to have in your side. I prefer him over Sheed. I prefer him over who's the other bloke? I guess we talked a bit about James Warp on the pod with DR and Spills. So I just much prefer Jacob Hopper as an option compared to Warple. But we're not talking about Warple, we're talking about Hopper. I just think he's probably going to be one of the more higher-owned players in the game. And I'd personally lock him in. Will Ashcroft, Chris Fagan said last year that he could have easily played last year, and he was a 17-year-old kid. So that's a lot of high praise. Will Ashcroft apparently could be pretty similar to Nick Dacos from 2022. So we're looking at potentially another Dacos clone, but we'll have to see. It's a big ceiling to hit with, being on Nick Dacos's level. He's one of the best. Nick Dacos is one of the best young first-year players that I've seen in his first season. So I think Will Ashcroft plays each and every week. We just got to suss out on what role he's going to play. Cam McKenzie again. Won't get too much in the detail. Ripping kick. He's ready-made. He should play round 1. I'd be surprised if he didn't. And Sam Mitchell loves him, so I'm really confident in Cam McKenzie. Will Phillips. My dad is actually. He worked in the car industry, and he actually knew Will Phillips's father, and I think he was chatting to him at some point during the preseason where he's looking really good in preseason. He's doing pretty well, so I'd keep an eye on Will Phillips certainly and his prospects. He had glandular fever for most of the year, which is shocking. But Clarko, I think I saw somewhere where Hawthorn would have picked Will Phillips if he didn't get drafted to North. So, and that was when Clarkson was coach. So I think Clarkson and Phillips would have a mutual interest in each other and, a bit of love with each other. So I think Will Phillips, Clarko would really like him and like him to play a lot next year. So that's just my view on it. Elijah Hewitt, I think West Coast are transitioning for a fair bit, so I've got him at M9, and we'll just have to see if he gets games. I think he would play off that half-forward line, but I still think he's one of the more ready-made rookie options from the 2022 draft crop, so I've got him in. Oscar Baker, I think he's going to play on the wing next year for the Dogs. They're really high on him, so he's a 123K rookie where we could see a bit more game time. Lockie Hunter left the club. So they've picked up Oscar Baker, and I don't mind his chances of playing pretty early on. Corey Wagner, don't know much. Oh, he was the bloke that got drafted really late. I think he played for Melbourne, and I think did he have a brother there? I could be wrong there, but he played for a VFL club that I can't quite remember. But I think it was fantastic, and that's why the draft. I think he's like 23, 24 years old. Should have done a bit more research, but he's just there for the time being, a ready-made sort of player for Freo. Freo actually do pretty all right with the mature age picks, so They picked another one in Tom Emmett as well, who should be on your watch list as well as a rookie. Jared Witts, I won't lie, I don't know how else to spend this money, so I've just plopped in Jared Witts. Another, I think the midfield and the ruck are the two main lines that you don't want to mess up. So, because you don't want to be burning trades with just rucks, flipping and swapping rucks. So I've locked in just two rucks at the minute. Jared Witts is 30 years old. So starting to head into the latter end of his career, but he's still probably got a good few years left in him. I think my strategy with rucks for next year is going to be looking for rucks that are just sole rucks for their club. That's sort of the reason I've picked Jared Witts, because he's just going to be the sole ruck. Now, you're going to think, why do you want to just pick on sole rucks? Obviously, you want to pick sole rucks, but the main reason is I think more clubs next year are going to be playing two rucks because of the new tactical sub rule. A ruck will get subbed out. If there's no injuries, a ruck will get subbed out at 3/4 time. Or, you know how they used to have the old sub rule. So that's basically back. And I think they'll sub it. I think most clubs will be subbing out rucks. And I just think as a sole ruck, I mean, it'd be pretty bold for any club with Jared Witts, Tim English, Sam Draper as a sole ruck to just sub them out. So I think there'd be a lot less risks in terms of the sole rucks being subbed out. So that's why I've gone Jared Witts, and he's training with. He's going to have a full preseason now. 2021 he had an ACL injury, and he was spending most of preseason to just sort of build himself back up, and then next year, I mean, the following year, 2022, he was a great player for us. Not so much towards the latter end, but anyway, that's just my tactic. So that's why I've gone English as well. Obviously, you've got Marby or Chol and maybe Rory Lobb just chop out, just to give them some time on the bench. So I think that's why I've gone with the sole rucks, because you've got Melbourne with Gawn and Grundy, you've got Freo with Darcy and Jackson, and you just need to see the whole. I guess it's more of a wait and see on those sort of blokes. So that's why I'm going to go, just with the sole rucks for now. There's still a long time before round one, so a lot can change. I'd be shocked if more than half of my premiums here are there by round one, maybe due to injury or a poor roll, whatever. So, for now, I'm just locking in these two. Rabbled on enough about them. Nick Madden just there as a loophole sort of option for us at 102k. Josh Dunkley, Rosie, Taranto. I think this is going to be a pretty highly owned trio down forward. Now, you don't want to overflow your forward premiums. I wouldn't have any more than three, but I wouldn't have any. I wouldn't have any more than three, because tactic is to. Well, my tactic I'm going to attack is waiting on the DPPs, the new blokes to be added. Maybe Christian Petrarca's a forward come round 6 or round 12, and all of a sudden, you need to add him into your forward line. So that's why I don't really want to overload the forward line. So I've just gone some safe options in there. If one of them turns out crap, we die on the hill together. We'll have to trade him out. So, that's just why I've gone with these three. Taranto's looking really good. Rosie's bulked up and he's looking to take a more consistent midfield role, in my opinion. Josh Dunkley is going to be, I think we see Neil get tagged a lot. So that leaves Dunkley to just be a really good option in that Brisbane midfield. Hugh McCluggage as well, of course. Jared Berry. So, and I think he's the biggest lock. I think he's the biggest lock in SuperCoach so far this preseason, because we just know his scoring potential. It's an absolute charity for us to be getting Josh Dunkley as a forward still. So this will probably be the last year that he is considered a forward, but so we may as well just enjoy the ride. I'd pick him. Sam Flanders, I was talking to DR and Spills off after the recording, and they were saying a lot about Sam Flanders, Um, they're sort of that missing Gold Coast fourth option in the midfield, and they think Sam Flanders is ready to go. I'm not big on looking at VFL numbers and all that, but they did say that. Well, I'm not big on just looking up and seeing how good a player was in the VFL, but they did say that he is he was just cut and sick in in the VFL. His numbers are just ridiculous in the VFL, so they think that he's going to look to have an expanded role next year. So I'm on it. I tuned in. So we'll finish this off pretty quickly. I felt like we've been going for a fair bit. So Toby McLean, another really easy pick. I think he's got I think he had hand surgery, but at least he can still keep on running, and it's not lower body or whatever. He's had a bit of issues with his. I think he's done his ACL twice in back-to-back years. I watched the player profile with DR on Toby McLean. He actually edited that really well. I was very impressed with DR there. That was a very entertaining watch. That player profile. So Toby McLean, yeah. So he kind of, I was a bit unsure, but then he really solidified me with the Toby McLean pick with that video. So yeah, look, I just think he's more than capable of upping his price tag. You could probably get in the 300, 400s even at his full best. So yeah, Toby McLean's a pretty important player for the Dogs. They've been missing him for a couple of years. So hopefully we get to see more of him for next year, and hopefully he has a big season. Tom Berry, just got him in there. I don't know how close or how far away he is from being the Suns' best 22. I mean, Gold Coast have got about 100 blokes on the list. So it's a bit hard to gauge, but I think he'll get more of an opportunity at the Suns. Obviously played for Brisbane for a couple of seasons. Fergus Green, again, I talked on him a fair bit. I do think he replaces Gunston in that forward line, third tall forward option, even though he's a little bit smaller than Gunston. So yeah, and due to the thin depth at Hawthorn down forward, especially, I think we're going to see Fergus Green get a bit of opportunity. And sometimes you just need a bloke that that's going to play each week. Obviously, if he can, he kicked 53 goals in 17 games at Box Hill last year. So I think he can add that scoreboard pressure problem without Gunston. And I guess we'll see how we go with him, because I think he just plays round one. And I think he's a bloke that sometimes you just need a rookie that can just play. You can bank on him playing each and every week. So he might not make a lot of money, but at least he'll be playing. And Joe Richards, I haven't heard much from him in pre-season. He's a more experienced rookie that Collingwood drafted. I think he's from Wangaratta or Yarrawonga, one of the two. And he was a teacher there. But I think we certainly target those experienced blokes and hope for the best, because obviously they've got a few more years into the body compared to an 18-year-old, first pre-season. They're more mature, of course. So hopefully Joe Richards could get a gig early, but it's a long time before round one. So we'll certainly hear in the pre-season, we'll see the Amy series, just hear and see more about these rookies, and obviously the premiums, the roles, etc. So I think this video has gone for a fair while. So I'll end it there, guys. This will be my last team, probably until when SuperCoach opens. So hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to be recording videos with SuperCoach Pro next week. We're teaming up a bit. We met up yesterday. We'll talk about more about our meetup in our videos together, but we'll be uploading a video each on each other's channel. So there'll be 2 videos of us together, one on his channel, one on my channel. So make sure you tune into that, because that'll be interesting. We gathered a few ideas, so that'll be great. Shout out to Brad. So we'll be doing a fair bit of content throughout the season. So that'll do it. I'll see you guys in the next video, potentially with SuperCoach Pro and all that next week. So have a good one, guys. Cheers.